This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
Global oil firms and traders including Vitol, Trafigura and Total Energies have won tenders to supply Libya with gasoline and diesel as the country grants large Western players wider access and reduces imports of Russian fuel, three trading sources told Reuters. Libya is in the process of overhauling its oil sector 15 years after the fall of leader Muammar Gaddafi and years of civil wars. The country produces some 1.4 million barrels a day of crude but lacks the infrastructure to refine it, leaving it reliant on fuel imports. After issuing upstream licensing rounds for the first time in 20 years in an effort to grow crude output to 2 million barrels of oil per day, Africa's second-largest oil producer is now changing how it sells its oil and buys the fuel it requires.
Russian crude shipments in January made up the smallest portion of India's oil imports since late 2022, according to data from industry sources, while Middle Eastern supplies rose to their highest share over the same period. India, the world's third biggest oil importer and consumer, ramped up purchases of discounted Russian oil shunned by some Western nations in the wake of Moscow's 2022 invasion of Ukraine, with volumes topping 2 million barrels per day in some months. However, Western sanctions over the war and pressure to clinch a trade deal with the US have forced New Delhi to scale back Russian oil purchases, the data showed. And China has, since November, replaced India as Russia's top buyer of seaborne crude.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Italy approved a 2 percentage point hike in its IRAP corporate tax on energy firms, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said on Wednesday, to help fund a package of measures aimed at cutting bills paid by families and energy-intensive businesses. The move is expected to bring the government around €1 billion, $1.18 billion, in extra revenue through 2028, a decree seen by Reuters showed, which will then be used to fund the planned cuts to energy bills. The package will have a significant impact, guaranteeing benefits for households and businesses worth over €5 billion, Meloni said in a video posted on social media platform X, without providing any time frame.
Canada will step up support to Ukraine's energy sector, working with industry to supply oil and gas equipment on favorable terms and boost renewable energy investments, the two governments said on Wednesday. Russia has targeted power stations, electricity transmission lines and gas facilities as part of its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, which began in February 2022. Russian strikes this week on Ukrainian power infrastructure killed 3 people and left tens of thousands without power and heat. On Wednesday, Ukraine and Canada agreed on a strategic energy partnership at a meeting in Paris, where Canada's government said it would work with industry to transfer oil and gas sector equipment to Ukraine on concessional terms, and promote investments in Ukraine's energy security. Next, we have the top news in metal market. India aims to start producing rare earth permanent magnets by the end of the year in partnership with the private sector, the federal mining minister said on Thursday, as the Asian country seeks to lower imports of critical industrial inputs. New Delhi approved a 73 billion rupee, $802 million, rare earth permanent magnets manufacturing program in November. The magnets are used in industries ranging from electric vehicles and aerospace to defense and renewable energy. The mining ministry and a state-run body have developed the technology to produce permanent magnets with plans to set up 4 critical mineral processing plants across as many states, Minister Kishan Reddy said at an event organized by Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry.
The U.S. government has signed an agreement with Uzbekistan to secure better access to the Central Asian country's critical minerals, as U.S. President Donald Trump moves to counter China's dominance of crucial resources and their supply chains. The Joint Investment Framework between the U.S. International Development Finance Corp. (DFC) and Central Asia's most populous nation aims to advance the two countries' strategic cooperation, an outline of the plan from the DFC said. It will prioritize investments across the critical mineral value chain including exploration, extraction and processing, and proposes a new U.S.-Uzbekistan joint investment holding company for future minerals and infrastructure projects, the DFC's plan said.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
Global demand for natural rubber is projected to exceed production for a sixth straight year in 2026, with accelerating growth in the automotive sector across emerging and advanced economies driving consumption, an industry body said. Global production is forecast to grow by 2.4% to reach 15.2 million tons in 2026, following a modest 1.4% increase in 2025, the Association of Natural Rubber Producing Countries said in an email response to Reuters. Output growth continues to lag expectations despite improved grower prices since 2025, due to adverse weather, limited replanting of aging trees, persistently low productivity among smallholders after years of depressed prices, and competing land use changes, it said.
That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.